Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome back to Tenerife, where today we're off to Wembley in order to beat an English side. Are we the baddies? So, minor things to get you caught up on. 2 games played, of course. 2 irrelevant games played at the end of the season after we won the title against Atletico Madrid. But Sebastian, Espanyol, 4 points, 1 away from home against Espanyol. They barely survived. Well, 3-3 bodes well for this match because we were 3-1 up. Nico scored one of the worst goals I've ever seen. Their goalkeeper is going to have nightmares about this. Herrera plays it forward to Shaqiri, who I actually played in this one. Nico. There's Nico. Yeah, I don't know what their goalkeeper does. So I figured I'd play a few players who haven't featured this season in these remaining 2 games. Shaqiri played and got injured, so that was helpful. All that means is we ended up with 86 points, which is joint worst with the first season of Real Madrid, who had competition with Atletico and Sevilla in that particular season. There were 6 teams with more than 70 points in that first season. There are 2 in this one, ourselves and Barcelona. I can't help but feel like we've won the least impressive title so far. Real Madrid and Atletico, by the way, 5th and 6th in the end. 5th and 6th in the end. So next year's Champions League Spanish teams are Barcelona, Tenerife, Real Betis and Getafe. It's a good job we're doing all right in the competition, isn't it? 2 teams with less than 10 losses. 2 teams. But anyway, we're here for a Champions League final. Tenerife versus Manchester City in England. Showing Phil Foden onto his weaker side will limit the threat he poses considerably. Raheem Sterling. Gotta be said, they're the only 2 English players in their side, so I don't feel that bad about beating them, if we do. Now, of course, we do get 12 substitutions here, but we don't have that many people available to us because of registration issues. But the lineup essentially has to be Merritt in goal, Lodi, Umtiti, Quiros, Obregon at right back, and Novella in the Volantes, Nico in front of them, Zukic and Gallardo, Eduard up front. Now, we've not played a game in 13 days, which means some of the first team are a little bit lacking in sharpness. Some of them are all right. The ones that have sort of played week in, week out, still, even in those last few games, they're the ones that are all right. Eduard and Merritt I played in that last game because Merritt was 1 clean sheet away from being the best goalkeeper. Eduard was top goal scorer at that point and then didn't score in the final game and got usurped by a Getafe player. So that went well for him. I might as well not have played him. Their bench is interesting. A few youngsters on there and then Cal Felix for some reason. Neves, Milenkovic, Calafiori, Laporte. Yeah, it's like a bunch of youngsters and then some actual backups. Now, of course, we bookended our season with Manchester City. We opened with a Super Cup against them because we won the Europa League and they won last year's Champions League. So this is the rematch, basically, of the first game of the season. Just at Wembley, basically. Batarancourt is back, but he hasn't played any of the games at the end of the season, so he's nowhere near sharp for this one, which is why Gallardo gets the nod, even though I think he's technically slightly worse. There's Sterling, there's Foden, along with his Manchester City teammates. No Harry Kane, no Jack Grealish, as rumoured apparently in real life. Thank God. The fact they're using Vinicius Jr. as a striker is interesting. Now, I've said it basically at every single stage of this Champions League run-through. Winning this puts me in an awkward position. I would love to win it because it's a trophy, it's a Champions League, and it's Manchester City, who I don't like as a football club. Not any kind of rivalry hatred. If that went in the goal, I would have been furious. But realistically, I just see Manchester City and Chelsea as the instigators of this money-laden era of football. So I just have an inherent dislike of them for that reason, and that reason alone. But Zukic coming forward now. So of all the English teams we could get in the final, I'm kind of happy it's Manchester City, although I won't be happy if they win it. But they have won 2 already, so at this point, it's kind of by the by. They've already broken that duck. They've already got their just rewards for their financial investments, with 2 back-to-back Champions Leagues already in the virtual world. Obviously didn't go particularly well in real life. Eduard on loan. Now, of course, the interesting thing about Eduard here is Eduard is on loan from Liverpool, who are currently being managed by Pep Guardiola. Yeah, so Eduard's on loan from Liverpool. The manager for Manchester City at the moment is Jurgen Klopp. At some stage in the last 4 years, Manchester City and Liverpool have swapped their managers. There's a very good chance that Jurgen Klopp signed Eduard and now Pep Guardiola has let him go on loan to us. I said they've done all right at half-time. I very rarely say that when we're not winning, but it is Manchester City we're playing in England. And in fairness, we are playing all right, actually. Double the shots on target, but XG fairly equivalent. So the chances are about the same, even if they're not putting the shots on target. Umtiti hits the post. Umtiti, Lodi, and Ravella all booked, which would be a problem in the league, I think, because they're all on yellow card warnings in the league. But this is a Champions League final where that doesn't matter. Felix is already on the pitch. They've made an early substitution, but they've got the ball back again. I'm not really certain how they've got away with playing in light blue today, actually. Feels slightly kick clashy. I'm having a little bit of trouble working out who's who. Dodo. Quiros heads that clear. Rodri on the edge of the box. Oof. Merit. There are a few people, even with improved contracts, whose value are getting quite close to their release fees. Antov and Quiros are two of them. Their release fees are above 50 million, but they're... Oh my god, Carlo scored. I wasn't expecting anything because it came from a corner. And he'd run the entire pitch. Like, it was a double whammy of highlights that don't normally end in anything important. They started with a corner and then Carlo ran the entire pitch. Neither of those normally involve a goal at the end. But Gallardo's done an absolute madness. He's run the entire length of the pitch and then he side-footed it from the corner of the box almost into the corner of the goal. That's the weirdest goal I've ever seen, really. No, maybe not the weirdest, but it's up there. Lodi. Eduard's there. What is happening? I interrupted my own chain of thought, actually. I just realised. I'll get back to that in a moment. But Ravella, Lodi, I need to watch this one again because, I knew it was going to Eduard, but I'm trying to work out... Oh, I think he hits a defender. I think he's headed it at the far post where Ederson's dived to. And I think it's deflected behind the goalie. I think we've got lucky with the second there. Because I noticed it, the ball did a weird movement on the original play. Just didn't realise how. I thought he'd headed it at the ground or something. Yep, okay. Danger briefly averted as Jesus back on the ball though. Bernardo, that's just... Hang on, no, that is Bernardo Silva. It's confusing. They've got a Bernardo and a Bernardo Silva. Bernardo is Bernardo Silva. Paulo Bernardo is the other Bernardo. I think they put them both in central midfield now, which is increasingly more annoying for me. Gaia just runs into a player, basically. Eduard doesn't get on the end of that. Sterling takes that down. Lovely takedown by Sterling. Neves on the pitch now as well. Pumped it across to Jesus. He's in all of the space. If that's not a goal, Alex Merritt. Just sign Alex Merritt. That's my advice. Skriniar. Although it's worth noting, I did get a notification because Xhaka is on my shortlist, just because I like to keep tabs on players that we've had before. He may have got the Eredivisie goalkeeper of the season. He might have conceded 17 goals all season. Admittedly for Ajax, but Gallardo on this far side puts the ball back in again. Zukic at the back post. He scored a few of them, but it was just a little bit too far back and tight angle for that to be anything. Zukic is knackered. I don't really know how. He must have been injured at some point. Because nobody's played for 14 days. There's no reason for anyone to be completely injured. Ravella. Obregon. Oh, what a ball. I mean, Obregon of all people in the space there. It is his worst game so far. Oh, yeah, Core comes on. Eduard. Oh, I thought we were about to get a goal there, actually, from a corner. But thrown away, or hoofed away. Sterling has rounded. I don't know which defender that is. Lodi. But Lodi's recovered well here. I think he actually hit the post with that cross. So Core comes on, completely not match sharp, but Gallardo on the free kick. Nico's there is 3-0. You just saw Nico score the worst goal of all time. This one puts us 3-0 up. I mean, it's a great header. It's a genuinely great header. And Tenerife making Manchester City look a little bit Ukraine at the moment. Admittedly, we've not scored at the beginning of either half, but fair enough. Jesus coming forward. I mean, that's outside the box, isn't it? Now, see, that's interesting because I don't know where those players are. Jesus is outside the box, but... is he? I mean, he's gone to the box, so we'll just have a chat. Basically, what I want to say earlier on is winning the Champions League puts me in an awkward position because now there's no competition for me to actually focus on going forward in future seasons, which means it's not a bounty. We knew that it was outside. We thought it was. But basically, that means I don't know what games to focus on now going forward because this save ends when we're the number one team in the world, to mimic how Tenerife finished in a simulation did a couple of years ago. They ended up being the best team in the world. And I don't really know how. I think they had a tycoon takeover, if I remember rightly. But they became the best team in the world. That's when their save ends. Winning every competition before that point puts me in an awkward position because I don't know what games to focus on in any given season going forward now. There's a Club World Championship to come. We're breaking. There's a player on the far left side in all of the space. Obregon sort of runs into each other. A bit of a calamity there. I think it would have been Core that was in the space. Lodi intercepts. Yeah, it was. Just runs into Dodo. Good work there. Bataran. You can tell he's not match sharp, can't you? Four of the back line have injured. Well, let's say four of the back line. Ravella's one of the four bookings. Three of the back line and Ravella. Merritt saves again. With 7 minutes to go, do you replace a booking or do you replace a tired player? Bakayoko on. 1 minute of injury time left, and I'm making another change for no reason whatsoever. I'm bringing Nedelaire on as a DM for really no reason, other than to waste a couple of seconds. Okay, we've won the Champions League. We've beat both Manchester sides. Alberto Moreno has beaten Manchester City for a Champions League now. I said it last time out. I mean, he did it in real life against Manchester United in the Europa League. Sorry, there's a dance going on for one of my players there. I don't know what that dance was. Alex Merritt, I can see here, pumping his fist and doing a bit of dad dancing as well, just for good measure. He'll do a cartwheel now. Is that the backup goalkeeper? I think that's presumably the backup goalkeeper there. That's Christian Christensen, who's off to the 2024 Euros for Denmark. He's their goalkeeper now, taking over from the retiring Schmeichel, who hasn't actually retired yet. He's 37. He's retiring at the end of this year. Actually, I think Schmeichel might retire before the Euros happens. So it's a sensational game from basically everyone except the people who came off the pitch. In the end, I think Ravella and Antov would have been above sevens for keeping a clean sheet had they stayed on the pitch. But Zukic and Badovan 6.5 and 6.6 respectively. Don't give me problems here again. That's been a problem all year. Just for the game, not for this. So like I say, it puts me in an awkward position. What I sort of plan to do is obviously keep the season going until we are the number one in the world. There's a Club World Championship as well that we're going to be part of. So that's a competition we can still aim for and focus on. But what I basically want to do going forward is limit episodes per season to about 6 and maybe upload 3 a week. That way, if it's 2 or 3 a week, depending on how it works out, you're going to have 2 to 3 weeks per season. So they're going to be coming a little bit faster. That's the plan. Cardo, top goal. There's a casual reminder on the Cardo front, by the way. 1.4 million. We've signed him twice this year, and he's not disappointed either time. 1.4 million from Barcelona. Now worth 39. If I remember rightly, his release fee isn't dramatically higher than that either. No, it isn't. He's another one of those ones that's in a little bit of danger. 17 million. That'll help the coffers. 21 medals have been awarded. Alberto Moreno gets a Champions League medal. I can say he was part of the squad in 2019. I wasn't certain if he was, but apparently so. Won the Europa League with Sevilla in 2014. Won it obviously with Villarreal in this particular year in real life. He's moved 3 times in 3 years and got a Champions League medal for Tenerife. Love it. Love it. Xherdan Shaqiri gets one as well, of course. Would have one with Liverpool already. Didn't play a single minute in the Champions League, but he gets a medal. Got injured before he had a chance. Rodrigo gets a medal as well. Brought him in January from Leeds for $1 million. And he gets a Champions League medal. Come a long way from Bolton. Apparently I'm now in the Hall of Fame for England as well. I've just nicked into 8th. I'm ahead of Roy Hodgson with 2 domestic cups. Oh, not for English teams though. I was like, I'm pretty certain he hasn't. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Merritt with a 9. 9 saves he made in that. 9. Should say those financers gets us to 57 million with another 20 guaranteed because that's what happens at the end of every Spanish year. That puts us at 77 million total. 26 million profit for the year. Transfer budget's still only 11 million. I've made 1 move already for a Brazilian defender. I'll show you in the next episode, of course. Oh, another 10 million and another 3 million. And then we pay out, presumably, 5 million. So that's actually not that bad. Oh, how did Almeria end up? Because they were doing all right in the Europa League. Oh, they lost the final to Chelsea. They were in the final. Oh, no. The Super Cup could have been between Tenerife and Almeria. Oh, my God. I just realised an English team beat a Spanish team in a final. Obviously not on our side, but Tom Davies nearly won a Europa League. Is he playing right back? I think he was. Judging by the team sheet, he was playing right back. Wow. Alex Merritt is going absolutely nowhere. So, of course, we do all the end of season things. Oh, here's the review first, though. 4 trophies. 4. I thought my first season with Tenerife was insane, but I have seen other people be promoted from the second division in this year's game and do very well in their first season in the Liga as well. So it's not unique to this save doing well in the first season. The success afterwards, I'm not as well versed on in terms of other people's saves. I don't know how well other people have done after that first season. By the way, I just want to remind people, the board thought financially bringing Eduard in was an absolute mistake. £775,000 for the year. They thought that was a mistake. Admittedly, Nico's that much for half a year was a bit insane, but 34 goals, I think he was worth it. I don't think I can sign him permanently just because he's 40 million basically. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say, Hanus played that last game, the right back, who I said probably wouldn't feature this year. He's been called up for the Czech Republic for the Euros. 1.3 million. He played in the final game, got a 7.7. He was player of the match. And actually makes the Nedelaire problem even more of a problem. Because I could train, obviously, Obregon to be the first choice. Hanus could be second choice, and Nedelaire could be a centre-back, or even a volante, actually, which is something I hadn't considered before. Hanus is great physically. His mental's quite good for his age. His technicals are just all round, not quite up to scratch for a first team player, but for a second team, he's 2.5 star as a complete win back. Genuine option, fairly professional as well. He makes that right back problem even more of a problem. Right, okay, it's loaded in. Ravella, of course, signing permanently at the end of the year. Kind of forgot about that, but that's happening. Core was great when he wasn't injured. Molina did actually well in very limited appearances. Lodi was worth bringing in a left back. Umtiti, great servant, 51 appearances, 6.95. That's not bad. Harwood did well when he came in. Still baffled by that transfer. Like, board-wise, boards are usually useless at making transfers. That is the best board transfer I've ever seen in my life. Faisal, 200 grand. I mean, he didn't perform well. Faisal, I get the sense he's going to be one of those players who has a very poor first season and then second season kicks on. A bit like Zukic did. Pablo Torre obviously has an incorrect face because he doesn't have a face in the game normally, but real person. Worth a lot of money for a player brought in for £4.5 million and a £20,000 player. Essentially the long-term option instead of Nico in the middle. So Faisal and Nico are those two players in that position. I'm likely going to loan Molina out just to help out with the non-EU situation. Because of course, we've got the problem of Lewis McDonald, who I brought in and then didn't play because I couldn't register him. And for some reason, he didn't play for Tenerife B either. I don't know why. It was a lot of money for a player that didn't play. But obviously, they loved it. We are expanding to 25,000. I don't know if that's the maximum for the stadium. If it is, we'll probably look to build a new one at some point. Goal of the season was Gallardo's in that Champions League final. Can't fault that. For once, can't fault that. 5-0 over Fenerbahce, best one. Match to remember, 2-0 away at Lyon. I mean, this one, surely. Sponsorship up, broadcast revenue up, corporate up, competition prize money. £80 million this year in competition prize money. I'm not actually fully certain that those winnings have gone into the finances yet. But the best 11 merit and goal, of course, 7.37 for merit overall in the end. A goalkeeper with 7.37 average rating. The only thing he didn't get was an assist, really. I mean, I don't expect him to get a goal, but, you know, occasionally goalkeepers do get assists. Lodi, Umtiti, Quiros, Obregon, Antov, Ravella, Faisal, Zukic, Gallardo, Eduard. It's literally the lineup I just used in that Champions League final, except for Faisal for Nico, because Faisal was here for the entire season and Nico wasn't. I guess that's the only reason. Nico's average rating was better. I think Faisal will kick on next year, though. 3 monthly as the manager of the year. I did get manager of the year, by the way. I would have been tempted to give it to Catafes if I had a choice, but sure. We're just still underrated by the game, I guess. Player of the season is Merit. Young player is Antov at 23. Signing is Nedelaire. Goal of the season, of course, we just saw it. Eduard 34. Ravella with 14 assists. You can see why I'm getting him in permanently. 10 player of the match of Merit. 7.4 average rating. Ravella, the best passes per 90 as well. A new highest transfer. Yeah, that's why I want to keep McDonald around for next year. I'm not going to renew Bakayoko's loan or sign him permanently. McDonald fills that role, basically. Suarez, oh yeah, highest sale as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a new highest sale this year. I know it's a massive one. Because I'm not renegotiating any of those contracts again. We might lose someone to a release fee. Continue qualifying for the Champions Cup. Now, that's the first time that's been that high. Which means, this is what I tell them. Where do we go? Uruguay is an option. Honestly, just go to USA. Build that reputation in major countries. I guess he had less appearances. Is that a thing? The top 3 goals in the Champions League all came from our players. Gallardo against Manchester City in the final, and 2 goals against Fenerbahce in different legs. Eduard, Core, Quiros, and Merit, 4 players for winning it. So we get 4 players in the Champions League 11 for winning it. Manchester City get 4 for losing it. And Man United get 3 for not even being in the final. Classic. Merit the best goalkeeper. Didn't even have a defender in the top 3. I don't know how far Bayern Munich got, but Alphonso Davies got second there somehow. And yet Eduard gets forward of the season, and Rashford isn't even featured. So the stadium will be done in mid-September. Our hot prospect has become a professional player, 1.5 star. I should mention some youngsters, by the way. Maicon Douglas, who I put in the under-19 straight away because he wasn't good enough, has become a 3-star player over the course of the year. £100,000 he cost me. I mean, he's good enough to play next year. Problem is, Brazilian. Same situation with Percadani on the right-hand side, wasn't good enough to play. 1.9 million from Independiente. These are players I've not really shown you before in transfer windows because they've not been good enough then. There have always been ones for the future. Again, not quite good enough. And again, Argentinian, so non-EU. These are players I'm likely to loan out to other Spanish clubs to at very least get them homegrown Spanish. And then there is Ivan, who is one of our own, sort of, nicked from Santander, but he's been here 3 years and he will be a homegrown club at the end of the year. So he's very likely to end up on my list because I can just register him for free in the Champions League regardless. with 17 dribbling, 16 technique. The rest of it somewhat lacking, particularly the mentals, but stick him in a mentoring group. Those will shoot up if he gets playing time. And in a mentoring group with players like Antov, he's already fairly professional as is anyway. So operating at second division level, he can definitely move up to the B team. He's already been in the B team, actually. Had a few games, had a good season, we'll see. But he's basically a free player at this point because I don't think he needs to be registered for the La Liga, and he will be homegrown club for the Champions League, and we don't have really anyone for that at this point anyway. So basically, he's a free registration in both of those competitions, and he's 2.5 star now with potential. He's actually basically the only player that I've signed from those under-19 teams that could actually play for us. The rest have all gone on to be like a couple £100,000 players, basically worth their value. But that is that. I will see you again for all of the transfers for the next season. We've still got a long way to be regarded as the best team in the world, but the trophies are stacking up now. Somewhat surprisingly, but they are stacking up. I will see you again for next season. Until then, ta-ra.